Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited for another update for PunkPanda Corporation. We want to just keep you guys updated because the most important thing right now, especially while we're in this beta phase, to keep you guys up to date with what's actually going on so that you guys can understand that we're moving forward and we're moving forward with the best interests of the community involved. So what we want to do tonight is give a few updates. Now, there's some new people that haven't seen the updates from last week, so we might go over a few similar updates from last week, but the most important thing is that we want to keep you guys up to date with the best and latest information as we move forward. So what I want to do is introduce one of our leaders, Marcus, and this guy right here, I'm telling you, he's on his job. He's making sure that everything's put together the right way. We also have our CEO, Albert, coming along. So we want to have Marcus take over right now and give us what we have to talk about tonight.
Fantastic, TW. Thanks for the great introduction. Marcus Schubert coming to you from the Gold Coast in Australia. So exciting times at the moment, guys. We're kind of growing fast, which is a little bit strange because at the moment we've got the beta app out there. We've got obvious challenges with the app. And so we kind of really haven't been pushing and haven't been in the mass marketing phase. We haven't been taking advantage of certain opportunities that we have to really take this out to the masses. But we're literally growing at the thousands and thousands of people per day. So with this presentation, we're going to just give you a quick update. If you haven't seen a presentation before, the idea would be to go back and watch one of the recorded presentations or look through one of the PDFs so you can understand really the key aspects of the project. But here we're going to talk about the Panda app, the beta version updates, some of the outcomes of the audit, some timelines on different features which will be upgraded. Panda 2.0, Panda app 2.0, we're excited about that one coming. We want to explain a little bit about the Panda Pals formula because often people are asking, why are my numbers going up, down? What do I need to do to receive more rewards? And we'll be closing out with the 90-day roadmap. So you can see literally in the next 3 months, what's going to be coming to the table and what we can take advantage of. So we always talk about trust. For us, trust comes from telling the truth, not from being perfect. And then confidence comes when you do what you say we'll do. So our promise to you as a community is that we'll always tell you the truth. And if something is not Panda perfect, we will not rest until it is. So the token pre-sales moving along quite nicely. We started the pre-sale October 29th with the token price at 10 cents. It's now at just over 53 cents. So what happens is there's been 10 million tokens pre-allocated for the pre-sale. And then as a certain number of tokens are purchased, it pushes the price up until it reaches $1. And at that point, we'll have about a 7-day break and the token will be listed on Pancake as the first place where people can purchase the token from the general public. Now, just a little bit of perspective, which I find interesting, is when we started our pre-sale at 10 cents on the 29th of October, Bitcoin was at $62,000. Now it's down maybe to about 48,000. And that's what Bitcoin does. Over time, we've seen it raise year after year after year. And the reason I put that in there from a perspective standpoint is because if somebody were to have come along at the start of our pre-sale and taken an amount that they were comfortable with and purchased some tokens at 10 cents, now they're at 50 cents 5 times. That would have been like the same as that person taking that same amount of money, putting it into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin now being worth over 300,000 US dollars. So we know that we're at around 50 cents now. We know we're going to get to $1. And there's some pretty smart people in the tokenomics world, in the crypto world, saying, guys, your token could be really heading towards this price. Now, from a company perspective, we don't want to telegraph what we believe the token will do because we just don't feel it's responsible to be talking about prices that we don't personally control. We can control the growth of the community. We can have an influence on rolling out the projects and making sure that, what we said we would deliver, we will deliver, but then you've got market speculation. So we just want to make sure we're responsible always on that. There's around 70,000 registrations on the PunkPanda farm, which is where people will set up an account if they want to participate in the token pre-sale. On the app side, I haven't got an exact update, but last we looked at it was well over 120,000 users with the app. but it could even be close to double that right now with how fast things are growing. As far as the PunkPanda farm is concerned, if people are watching this and they want to participate in the token pre-sale, that is a totally separate database from the app. So if you've been introduced to somebody through the PunkPanda app, you'll need to ask them for a referral link to set up an account on PunkPanda farm. All right, it's a totally separate database. Go back to the person who's introduced you to PunkPanda. If for whatever reason they do not have a link for the PunkPanda farm, then just put a message into the Telegram group, and one of the community admins, Stephanie or TW, will be able to send you a link to set up an account for yourself. When people do purchase tokens in the pre-sale, make sure that you watch the pre-sale presentation and you look through and you understand the selling rules. There's a minimum $50 purchase to be able to earn commissions. I suggest to people to buy well over $50, just to make sure that some people are being caught with fees when they send $50 from an exchange, particularly. If it removes some fees and we receive less than $50, we cannot process that order if it's under $50. Even if it's a larger amount and the amount we receive is less because of fees, it goes into a manual bucket, which will only get cleared manually once every 24 hours instead of being processed immediately. So just be aware of fees and maybe send a little bit extra to cover that. Once we do list on Pancake and the token is listed and it's out there in the public, we will continue to provide staking opportunities on PunkPanda farm. Now, whether that's going into a pool where you're saying, right, I want to stake this for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and get a monthly return, or whether it's just staking it so that it's equivalent to having it in your PunkPanda app and getting tokens every 30 minutes from the smart contract. So you'll be able to choose which option's best for you. There's been people asking about the contract address, which is normal. We understand that. You kind of want to set it up in your Trust Wallet or your MetaMask. We are not giving that out until the token is listed, purely because we don't want any problems created for the community where someone goes and sets up an unofficial liquidity pool on Pancake and people get confused and they get misled. So we're doing that to protect the community. As far as the beta app, this is probably the key update I believe most people would be waiting for. The Panda Pals rewards formula has now been fixed and implemented. So when you're looking at your wallet in your Panda app, whatever rewards are coming to you are exactly the way they should be coming to you. And we're going to go on another slide and explain actually the different dynamics that go towards creating your X factor and therefore how many rewards you'll be receiving. So that was done. It's been fixed. Coming up, the next one is going to save a lot of challenges for us. And that is where when you're inviting somebody to join the app, at the moment, we have a 6-digit code. And we're changing that to a link. And that will prevent some of the human error that's going on at the moment. There's actually 3 things that can cause a problem there. And I'll talk about those on a future slide where we talk about giving us some feedback and fixing any problems that you may see for yourself. But the target for that to be done is Wednesday, the 23rd of December. And then after that, within the next day or 2, we want to also have not only a link that you're sending to somebody so they can join you into the app, but instead of receiving a one-time code via SMS, it will come to you via email, which will fix another host of challenges that we've been having with onboarding people with the app. We'll also change on the punkpanda.com if people are logging into the Panda Pal section so they can see their team and how many on their first level and how many people down 12 levels and what their X factor is. We'll be changing that from an SMS to log in to just having a password, so you can log in there as well. One thing, unfortunately, we cannot fix with the beta version of the app is the contact sync. That will be rectified when we roll out Panda App 2.0, which we're aiming for the beginning of February, conservatively, and that's going to be a nice ride in a Bentley with the air conditioner on when that baby comes out. The last thing is some people have 0 PPM tokens in their wallet, and that could be for one of 2 reasons. Number one, you've joined up in the past and you have not introduced anybody as far as Panda Pals, or it could be just a reflection of the data. So you might need to log out, log back in, and then you'll see it there. We'll talk a bit more about that too on a future slide. So this is the most important part right now, where we can help people where there may genuinely be an issue. If you're logging into your Panda Pals report, if you're going to punkpanda.com, you're clicking on Panda Pals, you're logging in, and you're seeing all of your first level users, people you have personally introduced to the app. And if you know that somebody that you have introduced has downloaded the app, they're using the app, but you're not seeing them on your level 1. There's 3 potential reasons that could have happened. Number 1 is you may have accidentally sent them the wrong 6-digit code. You've typed it in wrong, or they've typed it in wrong. The third potential scenario is there are the odd situation where somebody's waiting for the one-time PIN and it's not coming, and then they ask for it again and it's not coming. And it seems to have created a little bit of a glitch where finally the person might be able to register without even having to put a code in. So they get in, they've got the app, but they're not showing up with you as their sponsor. So regardless of how that's come about, we're going to put this into the Telegram group so you know exactly what to send. But basically, you'll be sending an email to support@punkpanda.io, and you'll be providing your phone number and your invitation code, because you're supposed to be the sponsor, and you'll be providing their phone number and their name, right? Because you want them connected to you. So if they've turned up somewhere else as a ghost in the system, we can then reallocate them. But one thing I really have to stress, and this is so important, only send this email one time, right? As soon as the support staff receive that, you'll get a response, they'll log that, and then they'll go through and start reallocating anybody who either doesn't have a sponsor or has the wrong sponsor. Okay, so this is the most important thing to help everybody correctly right now. So again, we'll push that into the Telegram group. If people haven't seen this report and they ask that question in the Telegram group, what you're seeing on the screen is pretty much what they're going to get sent. So one of the things a lot of people ask is, how is the Panda Pals created, and how are those rewards actually divvied out? So we have a mining schedule. The smart contract actually says for the first year, 2,100 tokens are going to be coming into circulation every 30 minutes, 2,100 tokens. Now, the way they're going to be broken up every 30 minutes is 50% of those tokens, which is, of course, going to the Panda Pals. So that's people who are sharing. Actually, Stephanie, you might be able to help with the video. I can see Sexy TW, but maybe people thinking, why is that cool guy sounding like an uncool guy? Anyway, so we've got the 50% of them going to Panda Pals. So what that means is anybody that has shared the app with somebody, that's a Panda Pal. If they share the app with somebody, they're on your second level of Panda Pals, and you're going to get tracked down 12 levels. So 1,050 tokens are allocated every 30 minutes to people who have introduced the app to one person or more. Now, some people are saying, why is my Panda Pals going down when my team is going up? So I want to give you an example here, right? Imagine you're sitting on a bus with 5 people, and I jump on the bus and I say, hey guys, I've got 10 apples. I'm going to share them out between you. And you go, great, so let's take 2 each. And I say, all right, that will be a cool way to divide them up. But the rule on this bus is anybody that's singing will get more apples than somebody who's not singing, right? So let's say you're sitting on the bus. I jump on with 10 apples, and you're sitting there like this, and you're not participating. You're not singing. So those 10 apples get divided by the 4 people who are, and you start complaining. So you walk up the front and you're complaining to the bus driver. So now you're making noise, but you're not really contributing to the good community on the bus. So then again, you start to learn the rules. So you go, right, I'm going to sing a...
Marcus, you muted.
I got muted. All right, so now you learn the rules. The rules are you're on the bus, and now you got to sing. So 30 minutes later, I jump on and I go, guys, I got another 10 apples. Everybody's singing. So you guys get 2 each. Cool. Now you go, my Panda Pals is increasing. My rewards are increasing. 30 minutes later, there's now 20 people on the bus. I jump on and I say, hey, I got 10 apples. And you go, hey, why did I only get half an apple? Because I keep singing. And it's like, because of course the community is growing. You need to divide the apples the same amount. Those 1,050 need to go between more people. And you go, well, that's not fair. The longer we go, the less I get. Well, guess what? The difference in this example is that the apples can grow in size. Because back when we started on the 29th of October, when you received 1 ppm, 1 apple, it was worth 10 cents. Now that apple is 5 times as big. So even if you only got half an apple, it's still 2.5 times more as a reward than the one you got in the beginning. So don't just focus on how many you're receiving, focus on what those are actually worth, right? And of course, if your group is growing at a faster pace than the actual company is growing, then you'll actually continue to have more and more and more rewards, right? Whereas if you're sitting there and you're not growing very fast, and you're sitting there talking to your 2 sisters for 24 hours every day, well, okay, the amount of time you're using the app is good, but it's only being times by 3 people in your group. So the next group we have is what's called the token holders. So this actually goes to people who are holding tokens, because you'll notice in your app, you've got Panda Pals and you've got staking rewards. Staking is rewarding people who are holding tokens and not selling them. So we're going to talk about the 48-hour rule, but ultimately, the more tokens you're holding every 30 minutes, the more you'll be getting given out of those 485 that are coming in every 30 minutes. There's another group that we have for token holders, and that's people who in the future buy tokens on the market or off the market via Pancake, for example. They can't send those tokens into the app. They can send them into Panda Farm, they can stake them and be rewarded for being a token holder, no matter how they receive those tokens. And then, of course, there's a percentage that goes to development, which is ongoing development for the company and all of the products that we deal with. Before I go any further with a crazy bus and Apple example, Albert, is there anything you want to add to this? Because you were kind of the guy who designed the tokenomics. And of course, as we go on, once we get into the second year, every 30 minutes, there's only going to be 1,050 tokens coming into circulation instead of 2,100. But by then, the token price we expect to be much more significant.
What I'd like to add is that what we're created here is we're always going to have a low supply and a high demand. At the end of this, I'll be talking about a Panda Play product that we'll be bringing into the community. Just that one Panda Play product is going to be able to absorb almost every single token that's hitting the market every 30 minutes, which once again will create a low supply and a very high demand. And from the onset, that's what we wanted to create. We wanted to create something that would have low supply, high demand. And also, when you're on the farm, when we switch over and we go to Pancake and we're listed on Pancake, there will be an 8 to 15 day notice. That's when all the interest payments will stop. And that's when everything that you have staked there will be switched over to the rewards. Many people are starting to figure out, well, if 250 tokens are going to the farm and there's only a few thousand people there that are on the farm, and that pre-sale is going to be converted into a DeFi farm in the future, I would probably receive more tokens by staking there, buying on Pancake and staking there, than I would in the app that has hundreds of thousands of people, in the future. So that's all I would like to add right now. And then I'll wait for you to give it back to me for the Panda Play.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Albert. So let's take this a little bit further, because I really do want to help people to understand, how do they maximize these rewards with the Panda, the Panda app. So our mantra is use it, share it, own it. And we want it to be really simple, and it should be self-explanatory. The more you use it, the more rewards you get. The more you share it, the more rewards you get. And of course, the more rewards you get, the more you own as a portion of the total supply of the company. It's kind of like owning shares in the business. So let's look at use it. We've implemented a new feature with the new Panda Pals formula that was integrated yesterday. And that is when somebody actually joins the app for the first time, so it's a new account, that person will receive a small portion of a token into their staking wallet. And that wasn't happening before. Now, what that does is it means the staking wallet is now recognized by the smart contract to receive tokens every 30 minutes. And of course, if it's a small token and they're getting paid a portion, it's going to be minute, but at least it's active and it's being recognized. So up until this point, the staking wallet would never have been recognized until somebody introduced some other people who start using the app, they would have started receiving rewards for Panda Pals, which then get immediately pushed into the staking wallet, and now both wallets are active. So one of the reasons we didn't have that active before was because when we started, we migrated a database of over 40,000 accounts from another company who wanted all of their users to have access to the Panda app, excuse me. And so we really didn't think it was fair to automatically have all of those 40,000 accounts be given a token and then receiving more tokens every 30 minutes, because we knew that some of those people would never even download, activate, and use the app. So we didn't want those inactive accounts to be taking staking rewards away from people who had actually proactively joined Panda Pals, joined the Panda app, and were out there sharing it. But from this point forward, any new account that comes in will receive a portion of a token immediately. From that point on, you'll also receive rewards based on your personal usage. So it's going to be looking at a 24-hour average. How much have you personally been using the app? So that's the use it part of it. But the portion that you're getting allocated for using it is much smaller than, of course, what can be generated from your Panda Pals team. So the share it part comes in. So the formula is looking at how much usage time is there through the people you've personally introduced, which is your level 1, level 2, and right down 12 levels. So it's looking at how much time is the app being used through those 12 levels. And it's prioritizing your X factor based on people on your level 1 will have a multiplier of 15, and level 2 it might be 12, and then 10 and 8, and down to a factor of 1 on your level, down on level 12, all right? Because you are probably least responsible for those people coming into the business. So obviously the more you're sharing it, the more the people in your team are sharing it, the more they're all using it, the more Panda Pals you'll be receiving every 30 minutes as rewards. And then the last point is owning it. And owning it isn't just going, great, I've got a reward, but we want to incentivize people for not just having those rewards, whether they purchase them in the pre-sale, purchase them in the future on an exchange, or earn them as rewards. We want to incentivize you for being a staked token holder. So if those tokens are staked, it means they're locked up. It means they're not showing in circulating supply, which is good for the token price when you look at supply and demand. And so in your app, the more tokens you are holding in your staked wallet, the higher percentage out of that 485 you'll be receiving every 30 minutes, okay? So hopefully that clears something up. One thing you'll never be able to calculate, because I know there's certain personality types who always want to get their calculator out in a spreadsheet and a Venn diagram and start putting pictures all over the walls and working out, oh, I've got this many people, and you're never going to be able to work it out. And the reason why is because one of the things in the formula is the total usage time of the app across the entire company. And you're never going to know that on a 30 by 30 minute basis. The second thing is you don't know how many users they are. So you don't know how many people we're dividing the apples up between, all right? But what we know now is that the formula is implemented, calculating correctly and fairly. And that's really what the most important thing is. So the next topic is the staking, the 48-hour rule. You know, up until this point, if someone's come into the app and they didn't receive that initial portion of a token for joining the app, they're going to show unstaked, because of course, until there's tokens, there's nothing to stake, right? And so for them, if they started introducing Panda Pals, then it would have staked automatically and they'll see it staked. Some people get a little bit cautious, and we've mentioned the fact that the more staked tokens, the more rewards you'll get. But if you choose to unstake, you literally have to slide the button across. At that point, you're going to get put on hold for 48 hours. It's going to be 48 hours before you can access those tokens in your wallet to then send them out to an exchange where you can sell them if you want to, or send them to your trust wallet or something like that. Personally, I don't understand why you would ever send them to a different wallet, because now you're not receiving any rewards for being a token holder. So for me, I would either be leaving them staked in the app, or if you want to stake them on Panda Farm in the future, well, cool, that's a reason to move them somewhere else. Or if you want to sell them, of course, you need to move them out to an exchange to sell them. And now some people, of course, complain, well, hey, now my wallet's unstaked and I'm not getting any rewards for the next 48 hours. there's a couple of reasons we did this, and Albert, I might defer to you why the reasons we actually put this rule in place. But what I will say is the second you slide that thing to unstake in the app, this actual, this warning comes up. Warning, rewards can't be delivered to unstake wallets. Your request will need 48 hours to be released. For the next 48 hours, you will not receive any rewards. Do you want to proceed? Now, if someone clicks confirm after seeing that message and then they complain, sorry, but you're a knucklehead. This is there for a reason, and it can't be missed. You literally have to take action and put your greasy finger on the screen and click confirm before you unstake anything, right? And it's clear what the penalty is going to be. So Albert, before I go any further, do you want to just explain the couple of reasons why we implemented this 48-hour rule from the Panda app?
Sure. What happens here is on the Binance Smart Chain, there's actually a way to manipulate the system with a smart contract that's delivering to what would be considered staked wallets, any wallet that's holding. What you literally can do is, if this is an immediate delivery to any sort of wallet where you might be holding tokens, you could actually take 10,000 tokens, for example, create like 100 different wallets, and in a 30-minute time frame, you could move those 10,000 to 100 different wallets. The smart contract, because of the Binance Smart Chain flaw, you could actually create 100 different wallets, and it would give you credit for having those tokens in those 100 different wallets, looking like 100 separate accounts, and that would give you a larger share of the rewards that would be coming through. So to avoid that, that's why we implemented this 48-hour rule. It's actually a security measure, and to make sure that nobody could ever take advantage of the of manipulating the smart contract because of the Binance Smart Chain flaw. I'll pass it back to you, Martin.
Well, actually, and there's also some psychological reasons we did it as well, because human nature is, as soon as you get a reward, you go, you get given the apple, you go, I'm going to eat that sucker, and then you didn't realize if you had it just held off, the apple would have got 5 times bigger, right? And that's what's happening here. You're being rewarded in a token which is going up in value right now. And we believe in time it's going to continue to go up in value because of the utility cases for this token as we move forward. So we kind of want people to think about it before they just move their tokens out and go and sell them for 50 cents or $1 or whatever it is. Because also what they're going to be realizing is that, well, okay, I can move them out anytime I want. So I have to unstake. But for 48 hours, they're going to be missing rewards 96 different times. So we're kind of de-incentivizing people just to be moving tokens out and selling them willy-nilly. At that point, when they become available, they're unstaked, they might sell, or move a portion of them and then restake the rest. And now they're back on the smart contract getting a reward. So we wanted to really incentivize people to hold the token for their own benefit as well. If they want to sell them, cool, you won't have access for 48 hours. You also won't receive rewards for 48 hours. Withdrawals from the app. I see those questions coming into the Telegram group. You cannot withdraw from the app until it's listed. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to send it? What are you trying to do with it other than miss rewards, right? So we need to have the token listed. But on top of that, we will come back and advise some daily withdrawal limits, because what we don't want is people who have received a whole bunch of free tokens to go out and start flogging them all on the market and pushing the price down and actually affecting people who've actually put hard-earned money in and actually want to sell a portion of their tokens as they become available as well. So once we work out what those withdrawal limits can be that are fair but won't affect the community, we'll actually advise that. So that'll be at the time when we get really close to listing. Albert, did you want to add anything to that?
No, other than many people have received tokens unfairly because of the flaw that was created by the migration that was coming over and stuff. So this wasn't actually in the white paper, but it's something that we're going to have to do to protect the whole community on a whole.
Right. Okay. The contract address, obviously we'll give that once we're listed for people. And what I want to say right now is that whilst we're in this beta phase, we know we've got challenges. There's issues with the app that are being rectified and will be concluded on. But during this time, enjoy the free rewards. As far as support tickets are concerned, if there's an issue with anything on PunkPanda Farm where you're trying to purchase tokens, you can submit a support ticket through the back office. That's the fastest way to get a response, through your back office. Click on support. and the response will come into that inbox. Or if you can't even get into your back office for some reason, you can send an email to support@punkpandafarm.com and you'll get an email response. Issues with the app, support@punkpanda.io. Now, during this phase, this has kind of been a nice little story. A few weeks ago, I profiled a whole bunch of different wallets, people from different countries, and showing these rewards. But I haven't been as diligent following up with all these different people. But this guy, Patrick, happened to send me another screenshot last night while I was sleeping, from Nigeria. And so when we did the corporate update about 2 weeks ago, he'd been running for only a week or so in the business. He had over 1,400 PPM tokens, and his team was over 10,000 people. And then we did another corporate update 10 days later. And there's a lot of people complaining, walking up to the front of the bus and grabbing the bus driver going, "Hey, where's my Apple?" Someone stole it. Well, during this time, he continued to build his team. So in that 10 days, his rewards went from 1,400 to 5,000. And just last night, he sent me another screenshot, and now his rewards are nearly 8,000. So this has all happened in less than a month for this guy. Now, I don't know his personal financial situation, and I don't actually know what the average income is in Nigeria. But what I know is that, once we list and those tokens are worth $1, how many people out there do you know have made $8,000 in the past 4 weeks for sharing a free app, right? And that's assuming he sold them at $1. What if he waits till they're $10? Now he's made $80,000 in 1 month for sharing a free app. Obviously, he had to do some work, and it's taken energy and time, right? But that's damn good. And he has the same opportunity that all of us have. So I just wanted to give you that for some perspective. Next 90 days, Panda app. I cannot wait for this, guys, because we'll forget about what any of these issues are come the start of February. I've got the end of February here, but it's probably going to be by the start of February. Panda app 2.0. This is going to be the Bentley, the air conditioner on, the leather seats, kicking back with your sunglasses on, and going, how cool is this? All right. Because we realize some of the issues that we need to fix, we can't do it with the beta app. So rather than mess around and put Band-Aids on, you're going to see a brand new Ferrari coming flying out the door come February. PPM listing, we're on track to list on Pancake by January. And this last one, Panda Play, I want to hand over to Albert because he's intimately involved in that. And Albert, whilst you're on this, it's not just related to Panda Play, but I want you to explain to people behind the scenes what's been happening with our dev teams since we started as well.
Yes, fantastic. And what I'd like to start with is that, during this beta version, and since day one, we have been telling everybody, hey, this is beta version, got started on October 29th. And since then, with some issues, some people have said, you know what, I'm going to sit this out and I'm going to wait till everything is basically Panda perfect. And other people have decided, you know what, I'm going to build during this phase. I'm going to take advantage of this because they can plainly see that this is a 15-year program at least, plus another 15 added on to that. It's a utility token. So they can see where this is going to go in the future. And all we have to do is just correct a couple things in the app so it works much more smoothly. And so I have never seen a company where I've been the CEO or president or as a team leader building in the actual field where right now we have somewhere between 6 to 10 different team leaders that are growing at a rate of 1,000 to 2,000 people a day. And that's with us having issues because they're setting up the correct expectations. They're sitting there and they're telling their people, look, you're going to download this app for free and you're going to be able to go out and you're going to be able to get rewards by introducing this to other people that are going to download it for free. So your investment cost in this is going to be absolutely zero. And as you saw that person from Nigeria, with him spending no money and with all of his team members spending no money. So how hard is that to ask somebody for something that will cost them nothing, but will add great value? I mean, it's something that we all long for and want to be involved in. And so as you saw, just at $1 when we list, that's $8,000 over the last 4 weeks. We have some people that have already hit, team members that are close to 40,000 team members just within the last 2 to 3 weeks. growing at a rate, as I said, 1,000 to 2,000 people every single day. What's going to happen once we can actually start going out there, as Marcus started this presentation off with, when we can take advantage of actually advertising and reaching different segments in different countries? We haven't even been able to take advantage of that right now because we just didn't want to bring on a massive onboard with a couple of issues that we have right here. Now, with the dev teams, when we started this, all we had was the one dev team. And that dev team, their particular skill was with security. And they did a fantastic job with that. And what we realized that their skill wasn't necessarily relating over to user interface. And that's where a lot of these problems have come from, is the actual user interface. So now we have 4 different development teams, okay? And for the user interface, this has now been turned over to a gentleman who has a team of 20 being overseen by our main developer. But with his team of 20, he actually has a contract with Google. This is a multi-million-dollar app developing contract with Google that starts 4 months from now. Well, him and his team are the ones that are in charge of making our Panda app 2.0. And as Marcus said, it's going to be released by the end of February, but we really think that it will be at the start of February. So we literally have 6 weeks, and the Bentley will be rolling out. Now, the next 5 minutes I'm going to spend on Panda Play. This is probably going to be the most exciting 6 minutes of your life if you've not heard this before. We have another development team. And this development team, they built the largest sports fantasy app in all of India. That sports fantasy app has 80 million subscribers. We have the same development team, we have the same marketing team, and we have the exact same team that built everything that went into that app that's necessary for the app. The marketing team, we have the same marketing team also. Right now, as we speak, we're going to release the web version on Christmas Day. And understand, this sports fantasy app, when we launched on October 29th, this wasn't even a thought, okay? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it appeared to us and we said, we have to take advantage of this. Let's take Panda Post and let's put that on hold and let's skip forward and go with this. So that's what we've done. We're going to be releasing this on Christmas Day. Already, as we speak right now, we have 62,000 fantasy sport enthusiasts that are already onboarded, waiting for Christmas Day for the web version to be released. We'll be releasing the Android app in January, and then iOS app on February. And immediately in January, it'll be available on PCs. And then in January, it'll also be available on Mac. So it's going to be available web version, Mac, PC, Android, iOS, all by the end of February. Well, with these 60-some thousand that are there, we know that by the time that we launch on Christmas, the target is to have 100,000. This is 100,000 brand new database that has nothing to do with the PunkPanda app. Once we launch, we will start cross-recruiting, or not cross-recruiting, but cross-marketing and exposing the PunkPanda app to these 100,000 fantasy sports players that are over there. Now, the largest fantasy sports in all of India with the 80 million subscribers is so profitable, and we're going to be able to compete at such a level that there will be no competition. And that's the thing that makes this very exciting. Well, it's so profitable that the owner makes somewhere between $250,000 to $500,000 on each and every live match that is done every day. And sometimes they have up to 8 matches. So think about that. This one Panda Play fantasy sports app is going to be generating more revenue for us. It's going to be able to, for the community, to absorb more PunkPanda tokens on a daily basis than all the other items that we'll be releasing, such as Panda Meet, Panda Post, Panda Vault, that all are case uses for our utility token. It will absorb more than all of them combined. Okay. Now, with all of this going on, we are going to have to go over. Let's say that the farm is not sold out at that time, okay, or the pre-sale is not sold out at that time. Well, where are all these people on Christmas Day going to be able to get their tokens? Well, they're going to have to absolutely go to the farm. That's where they're going to have to make the purchase, bring them over to the app, and then place their bets. If you're a sports fantasy enthusiast and you know that we're going to have NBA basketball, we're going to have cricket, and we're going to have soccer. Those will be the three sports that we open up with. It's too late to open up the NFL or Major League Baseball right now. So that will be all coming next year. So let's say that you're a basketball enthusiast and the Lakers are playing the Celtics and you want to create your sports fantasy team. Well, almost in each and every country, this is legal because it's not considered gambling. It's actually Sharia compliant for those of you that are concerned about Sharia, because what it is, it's actually a play to earn situation. So it's legal in almost every country. Now in India, and the reason that we're going to be able to compete at such a high level, most every app that's there, what they do is they take a 20% rate. Because if we collect $1,000, we must pay out $1,000. But there's a rate that's allowed at the end. So they collect 20%. Ours will be 15%. So that's just 5%, no big deal. However, in the country of India and most all other Asian countries that will be participating in this, there is a tax that goes to the government if you are fiat based. Ours is crypto. And the app being built, being the first one ever for sports fantasy that will accept crypto, we will only accept one type of crypto, and that is the PPM token. This is how people will be able to place what their wager is on the sports fantasy team that they just built. Now, does that sports fantasy person, do they care what the price of the token is? No, not at all. They don't care if the token's $1,000. They don't care if it's $1. If they need to place $1,000 wager, they are going to buy $1,000 worth of value, not caring what the token actually costs. Okay, they just need it. The other great thing about sports enthusiasts is that when they're onboarding, and let's say that they're bringing their Bitcoin or they're bringing their Tron or whatever crypto they want to bring to convert to PPM, if there's a conversion problem or something like that, well, they're going to keep doing it until the actual transaction goes through. Okay, so they don't give up because it's something that they want to do because it's actually entertainment. You know, we've talked about releasing the Panda Meet, the Panda Vault, and comparing ourselves, you know, to like Dropbox and WhatsApp and Viper and things like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, basically in our first 6 weeks, we're over 100,000 people that have downloaded. That puts us ahead of every single one of these people that where they were in their first month. And the fastest that anybody ever got to 1 million, all those companies were at 1 million registrations, somewhere between 7 to 12 months. We will be way over 1 million. As soon as we can start turning, we already have all these leaders that got the afterburners burning right now, growing by 1,000 to 2,000 people every day. But wait till we turn on the actual faucet when we can sit there and not focus so much on the actual development side, where we can develop on, be focused on the actual marketing side. This thing, there's no end to it. And that is because of all these things that we're bringing to the market that are first. You know, we are the first messaging app ever just to actually pay somebody to use it and to go out and share it. And that's what the whole thought philosophy was when we released this, is that we will bring in more non-crypto people into crypto than any other project before, because people will come and they'll want this for the privacy, for the security, and the thought that, you know, nobody else can listen into my messages, nobody can see my messages, there's no third party, people aren't collecting my data and actually selling it to other people. And so what I envisioned when we were sitting down and doing this was that one of these days, when COVID's over and we can start doing meetings, is that there will be an announcement, hey, this lady's done this and she's doing fantastic and she's making several $1,000s every week. She'll be standing on stage and she'll say, I've never done MLM before. I don't understand crypto, still don't. My husband actually does the withdrawals for me. She goes, all I knew is that for the first time in my life, I saw something that I could put my heart and soul into because I wouldn't feel like I was bothering people. You know, I didn't have to ask them for money. And sure enough, when I sat down with my first set of friends and started explaining this app to them, they grabbed my phone and couldn't sign up fast enough because of the privacy and security. That's what it started off with. And then they said, I'll get rewarded every 30 minutes, like you're getting rewarded just for sharing this with other people. So, and we started talking that first day about what would it look like if for the last 7 years you had received tokens in WhatsApp every single day for the last 7 years? What would that amount to? What about when WhatsApp was actually sold to Facebook for $19 billion and we shared in the actual revenue of that because each token actually represents a share in the company. So we're very excited to be releasing, the app by the end of February. That will allow us as founders of the company to start focusing on the marketing aspect of it, because now we know that all the development aspects are being taken care of properly, from the security team all the way up to the app development team. And then we can start really focusing on the marketing team. We have a fantastic marketing team right now for the sports fantasy. The 100,000 will be there by Christmas. That means 100,000 people are going to need to get PPM on Christmas Day. Let's say just half of them want to do it on that day. That's still 50,000 people, even if they're just doing $10. That's why everybody needs to sit back and make a cold calculation right now. If you know that the app is going to be going from the 52 or 53 cents right now to a day or two after Christmas, that it will be $1. The pre-sale will be sold out. The pre-sale is a one-time act only. Where else can you go and probably make a safer bet than, okay, I'm going to buy some of this PPM right now for 52 cents, knowing that by Christmas Day, that 1 to 2 days after that, all these fantasy sports people, the only place in the world that they can get PPM at that moment are the ones that are for sale in the pre-sale. And the app will actually have the actual conversion rate. And so what we do is we manually put it in there. Well, whatever the pre-sale price is, that's what these people will be getting sold the token for, so that they can go place their wagers. Now, once the pre-sale is sold, we'll be listed on Pancake. So they'll all have to go to Pancake to make their purchase to go over and make their sports fantasy app. Talking to some people from crypto.com, having an in-depth conversation with them, and them kind of putting out what they felt like, what would be the first. And these are people that go along and they evaluate crypto companies, and they decide whether they'll do a money raise for them and other things or legal issues that might take place. Well, when we told them that by the end of March, there would be over 1 million sports fantasy people on this app, and what the case use should be for our token based upon that, they came back and said, you know what, that company evaluation just on the sports fantasy app, just on the one Panda Play product, could evaluate anywhere from $200 million to $300 million. So this is a wonderful use case utility token for us that will probably not be matched by any other product that we roll out, such as the Panda Meet, the Panda Play. Now, in addition to this, the Panda Play being a separate app and the PunkPanda app being a separate app, we are creating an NFT game that will be very easy to participate in. It is called Pass the Panda. Be able to do it on the app and be able to do it over here. Well, when people want to play Pass the Panda, what's going to happen is, maybe we have we say it's 2 PPM tokens. So they pay their 2 PPM tokens. And now I've got the NFT and I've got a whole package of PPM tokens that are associated with this. So I take it and I just received it. So I pass it off because I don't want to keep it longer than 2 minutes. If I keep it longer than 2 minutes, the person that sent it to me, they're the winners. Okay. Now on the PunkPanda app, when it's ready, what will happen is there'll be a pretty cool message that will come across your phone. So let's say that you just received the Panda and all of a sudden on your phone will go, Pass the Panda. So now you know that you've just received that NFT and that tokens. Well, if you got it 2 minutes to pass it on, if you pass it on to the next person and they do not reply within 2 minutes and pass it on, you're the winner. You'll win that NFT. And in addition to that, you will win the package of the PunkPanda tokens. Marcus, I don't know if you have the 2 NFTs, the first 2 NFTs that we've created. If you have them up, if you could bring them up on the screen. If not, I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. We're collaborating with a company called Loot NFT, and they have an arena there where they have all these enthusiasts that go and they actually bid on artwork. It's a play to earn situation. And they've associated themselves with an art school that's out of India. And not one Indian artist has ever sold one item for over 400 US dollars. Right now, the artwork that has went for the absolutely least amount has been 8,000 USD. Right now in that arena for the auction that's going on right now, it's over $40,000. And none of them have the actual talent that when we commissioned our artist to do our pandas, they believe that our artwork, which will be 5 different pieces of artwork, and we'll be announcing to the community very soon, if you want to be a participant and play to earn on the auction and actually be one of the first people ever to actually win one of the very or actually purchase one of the very first NFTs that we have ever, we'll be making that announcement to the community. And here we are. These are the first 2 NFTs that will be created. This is the actual artwork that's actually being done. The other 4 pandas will be done within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And probably within the next 2 weeks, it's probably going to be in January when the actual auction will begin. Panda Profit will be the very first one. And they right now evaluating this and going it over with the curators. They believe that this Panda Profit will probably go for somewhere in the range of $100,000 to $150,000 because of the community size that we have, the 15-year plan that we have. And for us, what this does, it'll create a lot of notoriety. Then the second panda will be available to be at the auction, and then the third panda, then the fourth panda, and then the 5th panda, and then the 6th panda. So it's going to create a lot of value for us, not so much in just the actual dollars and revenue that it generates, and whoever owned this. So let's say that it sells for 100,000. Whoever the new owner will be of this, they probably only spent maybe $1,500 or $2,000 to actually own this piece of artwork and the 4 NFTs that are associated with it for probably less than $2,000 to $3,000, whoever the winner of this will be. So with that, Marcus, I'm going to turn it back to you and close this out, or if you're going to turn it over to TW. Thank you. We're looking forward to a very wonderful Christmas. And with everything that I just said, I hope you can see that it's going to be a very special Christmas for PunkPanda. Have a great day. Have a great night, wherever you may be in the world.
Fantastic. Thanks, Albert. I think we're done with the slides, but I'll throw up the other presentation just in case. But yeah, there's no question it's exciting times. And certainly bear with the little frustrations that we're experiencing because they're temporary. But changing your life is something that happens forever. So with that, I'll hand it back to TW to close out for any closing thoughts. And Albert, we've got another Zoom in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes.
TW might be muted, is he?
And hey, for all of you people in the Philippines, it was a hell of a night last night. We had the typhoon, 100-mile-an-hour winds. It lasted for 12 hours. The families where I go play basketball are just absolutely devastated. No roofs. Some of the houses are gone. So got a lot of work ahead of us. Have a good day.
All right, guys, that was amazing. The only thing I can say to add to this is this right here. As I'm listening to the project unfold, watching it, being a part of it, I think back to the mid-90s with the internet. I always go back to that. And the one thing that I thought about that reminded me, what made the internet have mass adoption was a company called American Online. Does anybody remember American Online and what did they do? See, what happened was the internet was being used for NASA, for military, for government, for big companies, but regular people like you and I never, ever even used the internet, had no reason for it. So what American Online did was they sent out free CDs to everybody in America. Free. That's what I just said. Free CDs. You got a free CD in the mail and you put it in and you download the internet. And because of that, everybody was connected to the internet. So in essence, what PunkPanda is doing is we're giving this to you for free. And it's going to create mass adoption to the crypto industry. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're advancing this industry by creating a product that everybody can use. And guess what? Like Albert and Marcus say all the time, you look up 5 weeks later, you got crypto in a wallet. Now you got to figure out how to transfer it out. Now you got to figure out how to do the exchange. So what it is that we're helping people, the world, actually experience this new industry that most people, all the pundits, all the experts know that the crypto industry will be the next big thing. And we're in the infancy stages right now. And we are, this company, this community, are the people that's going to get it to the masses. And when that happens, we'll all benefit from it. So guys, we all appreciate your time. We thank you for your patience. We thank you for your understanding. Keep going out there, sharing it, keep using it. And want to thank Marcus, want to thank Albert, and also Steph for helping out with the chat and everything. And good night, good morning, good afternoon. Pandas, we're out.